Good morning, brothers and sisters. How are you today? If y'all don't recognize me, which some of you may not, because you didn't work in my class or you didn't know me for the last 50 years, at least 44 of them, which were active, kind of, sort of. My name is Ray Armstrong. I've been a member of Local Union 728 since February 5th, 1968. Seems like I was born there. And it's kind of weird because when you sit and look back, it was a wonderful, really, experience in my life. You all are family to me, and I'm asking you for your help. And me asking you for your help just may help you in the long run. Those of you who know me know that I speak straight. I may BS people, but I've never lied to anybody, knowingly. And I believe I'm a patriot. I served the Navy from 1968, August 23rd, 1968 to August 22nd, 1971. One of those years was served in Vietnam. That's why a 4-year tour turned into 3. The Navy didn't want me anymore if I wasn't going to stay in. I've had a rough life, just like you have. And that's why I'm talking to you, because I look at things from my point of view in the way my life has gone. When I got out of the Navy, when I left Vietnam, I went to San Diego to get out of the Navy because I was figured that's the closest place to Vietnam to get the fuck out, and that's what I wanted to do at the time. Sorry. But I can tell you that the Navy and that tour in Vietnam changed my life quite a bit. Maybe the person I am and the way I like to look at rules and regulations, the code book, how we do electric work, what I taught you in class through 12 years of a teaching apprenticeship school, Code of Excellence class, several different classes. I don't know how many I've trained through the field experience in the classroom. I can't tell you how many of you all I trained. You older ones especially. Yes, I did tell the 5th year class that I left when I retired that if it was up to me, not a goddamn one of them would pass. Daytime schooling sucked. I don't want to even get onto that shit. It still sucks. It's stupid. But when I went back, took leave, I was the 13th. I couldn't get out till the 22nd. I went home. And when I came back, it was a Sunday. I was sitting there in a lounge in a transient barracks at San Diego, NES San Diego. And Richard Nixon came on the phone. And what he basically did on the TV, what he basically did was blame workers, you and I. It's our fault that the price of bread is too high. It's our fault that companies, basically what they're saying is companies can't make bigger wages because the working folks are making too much money, so it's causing inflation. Stock market doesn't cause inflation. Stocks being wildly outside their value doesn't cause inflation. CEOs making 400, 500, 600 times more money than the people who work for them doesn't cause inflation. But you and I, we do. It gets involved in quite a story. Maybe I'll tell it one day when I talk about taxes, because I want to make these videos every day if I can. Because it's important. It's important to me. It may be important to you. I got a lot inside of me, brothers. I'm going to tell you what. It ain't a happy thing that's going on inside of me. Part of it's PTSD. Part of it's just pure frustration with a country that I believe in, that I worship And I believe in its Constitution. I believe in all of its institutions. And yes, if the FBI fucks up, the CIA fucks up, everybody fucks up. But I'm going to tell you what, they're people we can trust. The news media, they're not perfect. Some of the news stories I read, I actually wrote to that Washington Post and told them that, when you're giving an opinion is one thing, but when you're writing an article explaining what's going on, your opinion doesn't mean shit in that article. That article means itself. Let me make up my own mind. And I've done that all my life. I've stood outside of the circle in my local union. I had good friends and good brothers, I'm going to tell you, but as far as management in that local union, I stood outside of it. I tried to get in a couple times. I stood as unit chairman for 6 years, executive board for 6 years. I was an instructor for 12 years. I was an instructor 12 years. And I can tell you, the business manager didn't want me to be an instructor, but Brother Chick Perez did. I was recommended by Brother Stubby, good old Jim Stubblefield, and I hear quite a few others spoke up for me on the second go-around becoming an instructor in 1995. It's the strength of my convictions, brothers, that carry me through. If you've never worked with me, if you work for me, you know I can be a bastard because I want you to do your job. I have told you that. Do your job. Do it to the best of your ability. I told you in class every night I tried to tell you that stuff. And I believe that. And I have done my job to the best of my ability. I succeeded for my own self. No, I didn't win as business manager, and I backed out of being president. All right? But as far as it all goes in that local union, I succeeded. I changed things. Some of you helped me change things. So let's change things again. Let's change the conversation going on in this country. If I sit and I look at all the candidates, now they're down to, 3, 4, whatever, after South Carolina and today's Super Tuesday. I don't really give a shit. There ain't a goddamn one of them that's sitting there representing me and you. I think the one that came closest was Amy Klobuchar. But that's my opinion. But I can tell you this, the other ones, they're not preaching to you. They're preaching to money. They're not telling you. They're kind of like that televangelist guy who flies around in his own jet. He's got 4 or 5 mansions. They're kind of like that guy. I'm going to tell you what's good for you, and you're going to listen, and if you don't believe me, you're in trouble. They're all doing that. They don't represent you and I. I look at things this way, brothers and sisters. I work for a living. I worked my ass off. I studied my ass off. I've taken electronics courses. I've taken courses in instrumentation. I've taken courses on how to be an instructor. I learned how to be an aviation electrician's mate in the Navy, and that was 22 weeks of schooling on electrical theory and how to work on aircraft. I learned everything there that I learned in an apprenticeship. Actually, I learned more there than I learned in an apprenticeship, but yeah, I learned everything there. I also learned there that ethics, rules, procedures, the Uniform Code of Military Justice means a lot to me. And some of the things it says in there, I can't tell you, but I know basic rights. And I know I refused an illegal order. Even the President of the United States cannot tell me to do something illegal. If he orders me to do it, I'm going to refuse. And guess what? I'd probably get fired by this motherfucker. This guy doesn't represent you. He doesn't represent me. He only represents rich people and people who are I really hate to use this word, but to me, they seem like they're so damn bigoted, they don't even understand what they're saying, because they're talking about, oh, we don't want no Mexicans in here, they'll kill us all. Or, oh my God, let's go to Costco and buy all the toilet paper and all the goods we can because the coronavirus is going to kill me. Confidence in that nation of yours just doesn't go fly too far, does it? Well, let's put confidence back in it. Let's change the conversation. We are the backbone of this country. And I'm not just talking about union folk. I'm talking about all working folk. Without working folk, nobody, nothing in this country would be built, would be made, would be served, manufactured, without us. Think about it. We outnumber them 99% to 1%. Our votes count. But they subversivize, they take your vote away from you by sitting there talking about stupid shit. Well, let's not talk about stupid shit, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about history. Let's talk about my life and your life, because a lot of you guys, especially my brothers and sisters, I know what you've gone through just to make a living in this country. When you start driving 1,500, 3,000, or even going like 4,000 or 5,000 miles to make a damn dollar, something wrong with that. It's reality. And in the reality of things, it'll never change. Electricians will travel. Pipe fitters will travel. Carpenters may or may not, I don't know. A lot of trades travel like we do. But when you're traveling, you don't make enough money. You think you do, you don't. You can put it all in the bank, but it's costing you money to be there when you could be at home. So we all know the experience of what it's like to make a living in this country. And it's gotten worse since Richard Nixon. It's gotten worse. Between 1976 and 1981, when I ran for business manager the first time, we lost more than you can expect. We lost a third of our contractors because we went on strike. So I determined strikes are stupid. We have binding arbitration, and when it's argued right and when it's done right, binding arbitration is a very good thing because you don't have to strike. But you got to convince 12 people, 100%, every one of them, what's going on. I sat in council one time. 1981. It's a rather unique experience. But let's get down to the gist of it, brothers and sisters. I say I want to change the conversation. So I'm going to say this. If Bernie Sanders, as an independent, can run as a Democrat, which I think is the wrongest thing in the world, and I think there's something about that going on that's subversive. I believe subversive. So I want to be subversive. I want to run for president of the United States as an independent. I'm announcing it right now. I'm saying it. And you and I together, if you will just listen and believe in yourselves, like I believe in myself. If you really looked at the life that I lived and what I did in my life, you would say this man has accomplished more in his time than a lot of other people have. Not more than some, because there's some great people out there that I can't even compare myself to. There's some great brothers out there that I can't even compare myself to. But I'm going to use this video, hopefully, to get you to share it. And share it with working folks. And we're going to talk to working folks. We're going to talk about taxes. We're going to talk about health and welfare. We're going to talk about medical issues. We're going to talk about Veterans Administration. We're going to talk about everything that's wrong in this country at this time and needs to be corrected and what it's doing to you and I. You got a president in this country who sits and looks at military people to stand up to the rule of law the way they were trained in the military. Honorable, honorable, honorable man. And believe me, some of them aren't. Somebody like, I can see his face, can't think of him, but the Iran-Contra guy, and he's a big right-wing asshole now. All right? The vast majority are honorable men and women. And when they say something or they report something, they mean it. I believe in that. I can tell you that if you listen to this video, there will be things coming out. If I can get it out, been trying for a month now, just not technically savvy like some people. Plus my internet connection here sucks big time. But if I can get this out, and you can send it around, there will be more coming to you, because I'm sending it to you first. You're my brothers and sisters. I've taken care of a lot of you, and a lot of you have taken care of me. Some of the guys that work for me, yeah, I was hard on a couple of them, more than a couple. But I can tell you this, I appreciate everything anybody ever did for me in the world. I thank you. So let's do it for ourselves. It's not for me. I'm putting myself out there. But I need you to continue and share this video. I will announce where it's at through Messenger. Since I'm using that, I can find out if I can do it, or I'll just announce it on the IBW 728 webpage. And I can tell you, we can make a difference. We can change the conversation. There ain't no way in hell I'll ever win. I know that. If you sit here and look where I'm at, beard, dressed like this, hat on, IBW hat, pair of helicopters on it for my service, my Vietnam Veterans Medal, my honorary Aircrew Wings, and my Naval Achievement Medal Award. Plus this, the IBEW. I hate to say this, but let's make workers great again. Let's use his saying. Let's make workers great again. Because without you, he ain't got shit. Thank you. I'm going to get out of this, try to get it up on the air. If it gets up on the air, happy days. Happy days. You can contact me through rjarmjr728.228@gmail.com. Or, of course, you can go on Facebook. I don't really like Facebook. By the way, when you're writing on Facebook, don't pass on somebody else's mean. Write your opinion. Write what you think, not what somebody else thinks. Because what you think is what's important. Thank you. Have a great day.